Hey, good morning, everyone. This is CharlesFockaert on March 15th, 2017. I welcome all of you, especially those of you who have subscribed. And I would encourage you right up front. I know that the best advertising, the best marketing is word of mouth. I appreciate it if you would share these videos with others. And the topic this morning here is go with the flow. Just go with the flow. And I want to state right up front that I know how to go with the flow. This canoe picture here could be mine. I have a canoe that looks pretty much like this on the front end. And I canoe quite a bit up here in northwest Montana, and I get on these lakes and sometimes on the river, and I absolutely know how important it is at times to go with the flow. But I'm not talking about that here. And I'm going to suggest, and the subject of this video is the reason that we're in the problem that we're in today in our society and in our country is because too many of us go with the flow too often, almost to the exclusion of everything else. We never stick up for what's right. We never voice an opinion that is contrary to our peers. We don't want to appear to be the fringe or the extremist or the oddball. We don't want to stick our neck out. We just want to go with the flow. Get in line and move along with the herd. And as we're moving along with the herd, things are getting worse and worse and worse. We're all headed for the slaughterhouse, but we're all going with the flow. I did this video not too long ago, and it's called Why Can't You Be Like Everyone Else? And I've gotten 45 views, as you can see. Some of my videos on my channel are not viewed very often or not by very many people, but 7 thumbs up out of 45 views, from my experience and my understanding of all the other videos I have, that's a pretty good ratio of thumbs up to the views. And see, a lot of people get the idea that, well, if there's not a lot of people watching your stuff, Charles, then what you're saying must not be that important, or must not be very relevant, or must not be very interesting. And I would suggest quite the opposite, because most people like to be like everyone else. I'm going to remind you, bring your attention back to the fact that I used to, in the 80s, I had a column in this weekly paper in my hometown of Eureka, California, and my views were so out of the flow, shall we say, that the advertisers came to the publisher and said, "We want you to censor Charles, or we're going to pull our advertising money out of your newspaper." So because I didn't go with the flow, I was censored back in the 80s. And I would suggest that the reason the court system did what they did to me and my family in the 90s is because of what I had written in the local newspaper, the Times Standard, and this paper here. My views were very antithetical to the liberals in the court system, and so when they got a chance to have their way with me, they did. And so what I did then in response, instead of just tucking my tail between my legs, I ended up spending 6 years of emotional pain, I guess it was. It was very painful to write this book, and this book doesn't go with the flow. It's not your average book, and so it got censored from Lulu.com and Amazon.com. Now, had I just gone with the flow and said, oh, I got a divorce, I lost everything, no big deal, I just go with the flow. I had one person, need to get on with your life, you know, just, hey, people get divorced all the time, Charles, so, you know, just suck it up and go with the flow, and everything's going to be, you'll recover, everything will be just fine. But I didn't do that, and so I was censored here, and I was censored here. Now, if you would like to read a censored book, you can PM me, and I will make sure that you find out how you can get a copy, and we'll make arrangements if you're interested. Okay, this is how you can send me a PM. You come to the channel here, and you go to the About, and when you get to the About, right over here is you can send a message right here, and I'll get it, and we can be in contact that way. And also, while we're here, I might as well ask you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and then there's a bell there, and I don't know if it's working anymore. They don't want us to communicate with each other, folks. The email notifications of the new subscribers and the new videos of other channels is not working. YouTube is not improving their site for our benefit. They're only improving the site for them to make money with. But that's the way it goes, because that's all the Americans care about, is making money. You know, if a book is censored, don't you think that that would be something you'd want to read and you want to find out about? See, I didn't go with the flow, folks, and I document everything in this book, and they don't want you to read this book. I'll have means pretty soon, within a few weeks, of how you can buy this again online, but for now, you have to send me a PM. You know, it's the people in history that don't go with the flow that make history. Thomas Jefferson didn't go with the flow. John Adams didn't go with the flow. Paul Revere didn't go with the flow. George Washington didn't go with the flow. JFK didn't go with the flow. George Patton didn't go with the flow. You get my idea? Jesus Christ, Yeshua the Christ, he could have went with the flow, folks, and he would have never had to go through what he went through. But going with the flow on certain things and certain subjects and certain important aspects of what's going on in our life leads to the problems that we're into today. There's too many of us going with the flow. Now I'm going to give you another example here where I didn't go with the flow. I was involved in a lawsuit, and I don't need to get into that right now, but I was treated very unjustly, extremely unjustly by the Montana justice system. It's just us system. And I didn't take it lying down, and I fought them for 3.5 years. I didn't go with the flow, and they don't like that, folks. The powers that be want everyone to go with the flow because it benefits them. And I exposed the corruption in the Montana legal system, and I went down, I drove for 2 hours, get down to Missoula to speak in front of the Supreme Court Justice McGrath to give him a piece of my mind. And I'm going to show you just a very short clip here out of this video. It only gets 23 views, folks, and nobody even took the time to say, hey, Charles, thanks for going down there and speaking out. See, we go with the flow. It's so much easier just to go along with everyone. And if you could see everyone here, it's like a big party, and we want more money for the legal system. The attorneys are scamming everyone, and the judges are all in on it, and there's probably more money being made in the legal system in the United States than even the medical field. It's debatable, but they're both involved in scams of horrendous amounts of money and harm especially in the legal, in the healthcare system. But somebody that goes against the flow, that goes against the common conceptions that are accepted by most people in society are considered radicals. You're a white supremacist, you're a hater, you're an extremist. You're just, you're not going with the flow, Charles. Get in line and relax, and you're too excited and you're too emotional, and you have an anger problem. So let's play this real short clip. I asked 3 questions of the Montana Supreme Court Justice, this Access to Justice panel, because the Montana legal system is asking for more money. They want 5 more judges in the Montana legal system, and they want $2.3 million. And they're going to get it if they haven't already, because the representatives are going to go with the flow. Nobody came up to me. There was 2 Montana state reps at this meeting, and neither one of them contacted me and said, hey, give me some more information about how we can save money and how the court system is not working like it should. Why don't you give us your... No. Never been contacted. They don't care. They're just going to sign the bill and $2.3 million. We're going to pay more tax. We're going to have more cases in the court system that shouldn't be there. We're going to pay the higher price. We're going to be involved in a corrupt legal system, but we're all going to go with the flow. Let me play the 3 questions.
This is not how our legal system is supposed to work. The Montana legal system is not a private club for the attorneys and the attorneys who become judges. The legal system is our legal system. If judges obey the law and treat everyone equally, representing oneself in a legal dispute does not require a law school education. In my second appeal, case number 15-0345, the Montana Supreme Court ignored its own remanded and mandated law of the case, ignored 3 of my 5 brief issues, ignored the law, and affirmed the lower court's default judgment, an extreme measure by the court's own omission. Therefore, I have 3 questions to this commission. Question number 1, in the Montana legal system, why aren't self-representative individuals treated equally under the law? Question number 2, why are we expected to obey the law, but the Montana judges, including Supreme Court judges, are not obeying the law? And number 3, since a Montana Supreme Court opinion is the final ruling in a case, where does one go when the Montana Supreme Court itself does not obey the law? And I'm okay with questions.
So I get to talk for 25 minutes?
Yes, sir.
You notice how the Chief Justice McGrath just made a big joke after I called him on the carpet for not obeying the law? See, they think it's a big joke. And nobody asked me any questions. Nobody came up to me after and said, hey, tell me more. Nope. Everybody went with the flow. They're going to get their $2.3 million and 5 more judges. But everybody else in Montana is going to have their snowmobiles and their jet ski and their boat, and they're going to go fishing and hunting, and they're going to go with the flow, and things are going to get worse and worse and worse. And it's our own fault, folks. It's our own fault. You know why it's our fault? Because we're afraid to stand up in the middle of the river and say, I'm not going to go with the flow. I'm going to do something. I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to make something more than making money important in my life. And that's a big, big, big problem here in the United States. There's too many people that the only thing they think about is how they can make another buck. Meanwhile, the ship is sinking, and it won't be too much longer, and it's going to hit the bottom, and all the money in the world isn't going to do us any good, folks. What does it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Folks, it's all about the money here in America, and somebody said we're on a train going downhill at 80 miles an hour, and how you going to stop it? And it's going to hit the bridge, which is out, like the Orville Dam, and we're going to go off the end, and we're going to crash into the bottom, and everybody knows it's coming. You feel it in your bones, don't you? So, what are you doing about it? Are you supporting the people that are not going with the flow? Are you supporting the people that are not like everyone else? Are you doing your part? Or are you going with the flow? I want to thank you for watching. I ask you to share this video with others. Let's get to the 1,000 mark on my subscribers, and then we can work all together. I'm not trying to get to the 1,000 mark for my own benefit. We'll have other options when we get there, and for those of you who don't go with the flow, we'll be able to work together. I want to thank those of you who leave your comments. The comments are very, very, very important. I ask you to leave the comments, leave your comments. That's how we teach each other. That's how we interact with each other, is in the comment section. I do not censor comments unless they're just off the wall and ridiculous or obscene or ad hominem. So thanks again for watching. Embrace the love of the truth, even though you're going to be one of the few who do. And may the grace of God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ, Yeshua, be with us all, for we certainly need it. See you.